Welcome to today's Tea Time audio story. It's time to slow down, take a deep breath, and enjoy a moment just for you. As you sip your favorite tea, let your mind drift into the world of stories, where imagination comes alive and anything is possible. Listening to audio stories isn't just entertaining, it's also a wonderful way to relax, spark creativity, and improve your English in a natural and enjoyable way. Stories have the power to transport us to far-off places, introduce us to new characters, and remind us of life's little lessons. So whether you're here to unwind, learn something new, or simply enjoy a quiet escape, this is your time. Get comfortable, let your worries melt away, and allow today's story to take you on a journey. Let the magic begin. Liana's morning walks became more than just a routine, they became a refuge. In those early hours, when the world was still cloaked in quiet, she could exist without judgment. She could move without fear. The rhythm of her footsteps became a meditation, the sound of gravel beneath her shoes a steady beat that matched her heartbeat. Here, she wasn't defined by the stares, whispers, or unkind words. She was just Liana. No more, no less. But the safety of the morning couldn't shield her from the rest of the day. By mid-morning, the battle began anew. At school, the walls seemed closer, the air heavier. Her classmates didn't speak to her unless they had to. Some were cruel in their silence, others in their words. Liana had learned to navigate the corridors like a shadow, keeping her head down, walking fast, avoiding confrontation. But avoidance wasn't always enough. "Hey, Liana!" A voice called one morning, sharp and mocking. She paused, her body stiffening, but she didn't turn around. "Lose something? Like, maybe 100 pounds?" Laughter echoed behind her. She kept walking, her eyes stinging, her fists clenched at her sides. She wanted to shout, to turn around and say something cutting, something that would make them stop. But words failed her, stuck somewhere between her throat and her pride. Instead, she swallowed the humiliation and kept moving. Later, in the classroom, she slid into her seat at the back, pulling out her notebook. She kept her eyes on the desk, avoiding the teacher's gaze, avoiding everyone. She focused on taking notes, on pretending that she was invisible. She had mastered the art of blending in, of being unseen. But it didn't always work. When the teacher called for group work, the ripple of discomfort through the room was almost palpable. No one wanted to be paired with her. She heard the whispers, the subtle groans. Her stomach twisted, but she forced herself to stay still. She wouldn't let them see how it hurt. And when the teacher assigned her to work with Jason, one of the popular boys, his expression faltered. He didn't look at her, just gave a half-hearted shrug and said, "Sure." They sat in awkward silence, scribbling notes, avoiding eye contact. Liana kept her answers short, her voice low. She didn't want to give him a reason to laugh. But Jason surprised her. "You're good at this," he muttered after a while, nodding toward her detailed notes. Liana glanced at him, unsure if it was a trick. "Thanks," she said quietly, not trusting the moment. He didn't say anything else, but he didn't laugh, either. And when the bell rang, he didn't walk away as quickly as the others. He offered a nod before heading out the door. It was small, insignificant, but it stayed with her longer than the insults did. The days dragged, each one a series of silent battles. Liana fought herself more than anyone else. She fought the urge to retreat completely, to stop trying, to give up. She fought the voice that told her she was worthless, that she didn't deserve kindness. And she fought food. It wasn't just about hunger. It was about control. When the world felt heavy, food was a brief escape. But every bite came with guilt. Every calorie counted like a crime. She kept a journal, tracking everything she ate, every step she walked, every ounce lost. She clung to those numbers, let them define her victories and failures. But the victories were fleeting, and the failures lingered. Her mother noticed the changes, though she didn't know how to help. She tried cooking healthier meals, tried encouraging Leanna to join her for walks, tried asking gentle questions. But Leanna pushed her away with soft answers and forced smiles. She wasn't ready to share her struggle. Not yet. It was easier to keep it inside, where no one could judge it. One afternoon, after school, Leanna found herself wandering into a local bookstore. It was quiet and smelled of paper and ink, a comforting kind of silence. She wandered the aisles, running her fingers along the spines of books, seeking stories that didn't mirror her own. She wanted escape, but she also wanted understanding. In the self-help section, she paused, her eyes skimming titles about body image, confidence, and self-worth. She hesitated, fingers lingering over one book with a bright, encouraging cover. She almost picked it up, but a group of girls nearby started giggling, and she froze. Were they laughing at her? Probably. It always felt like they were. She walked away, her heart pounding, but the moment stayed with her. That night, she looked up the book online and read the first few pages. The words were gentle, honest. They spoke of struggles like hers, of learning to accept herself, not just to change. She didn't know if she believed it, but she wanted to. She wanted to believe that there was a world where she could be enough. The walks continued. Each day, she pushed herself a little farther, not for weight loss, but to prove she could. To remind herself that she could do hard things. She started noticing the way her body felt stronger, the way her steps became more confident. One morning, an older woman walking her dog smiled and said, "Beautiful day, isn't it?" Leanna smiled back. "It is." It was such a small moment, but it made her feel seen in a way that didn't hurt. It felt good, safe. She began to crave those moments, small glimpses of connection that didn't come with conditions. Moments that reminded her she wasn't invisible, but maybe she didn't have to be ashamed, either. Leanna's journal became more than just numbers. She started writing about her walks, about how the sunrise looked when it broke over the rooftops, about the way the breeze felt against her skin. She wrote about the way her heart felt lighter when she was moving, about the hope that maybe, just maybe, she was finding something real. Something that wasn't about the scale, or the whispers, or the mirror. Something that was just for her. And for the first time, the future didn't feel like a punishment. It felt like a possibility. But the silent battles didn't end. They never did. Some nights, the voices were louder. Some mornings, the walk felt harder. Some days, she still counted every bite, still let the scale decide if she was worthy. But the difference was, she didn't let it stop her. Not completely. And maybe that was enough. For now. One day, after a particularly long walk, she sat on the park bench and watched a group of women jogging together. They laughed and chatted, sweat shining on their foreheads, but their smiles were genuine. Leanna envied their ease, their camaraderie. But for the first time, envy didn't come with bitterness. Instead, it came with a question. Could that be me? She didn't know the answer, but she wanted to find out. And maybe that was enough, too. Thank you for joining today's Tea Time story. We hope you enjoyed this journey into the world of imagination and storytelling. Whether it made you smile, sparked a new thought, or simply gave you a moment to relax, we're grateful to have shared this time with you. Thank you for listening and being part of our story time. Keep dreaming, keep imagining, and we'll see you again for another magical tale soon. Until next time, take care and happy listening.